guys, how are you? This is Brian. Welcome to Philosopher's Notes TV. Today we're going to do an episode on the great book Ask and It Is Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks. As always, we've got a great book. We've got the 6-page Philosopher's Notes PDF with a handful of my favorite big ideas from this great book. We're going to use this as our guide. If you are joining us on day 5 of the Philosopher's Notes 50-day challenge, I'm just blown away by the energy on the boards, the wisdom, the enthusiasm, just unbelievably cool. So inspired by it. Had to take this morning off so I can focus on these TV shows and get ahead so I can jump back in. But just blown away, really inspiring, so thank you. So Ask and It Is Given is a great book. It's kind of the Bible of the law of attraction. And a lot of people have been talking about the law of attraction over the last X months and even X years now. But Esther and Jerry Hicks have been talking about this stuff for decades at this point, a long, long time. Pretty sure that's accurate. But it's been a while. So they are phenomenal. And I love the way they describe the law of attraction. In fact, they're some of my favorite teachers right now. I've done 3 notes on their books, Ask and It Is Given, Money and the Law of Attraction, and The Amazing Power of Deliberate Intent. All great books. We're going to cover a couple of them in the challenge. You can check them out. But today we're going to look at the law of attraction. I love the way they describe it. It's my favorite description of it. We're also going to talk about one of my favorite big ideas from all 1,000 of these ideas we explore in the 100 notes. The idea of you have an emotional guidance system. Really cool concept. Then we'll also talk about appreciation and segment intending and see what we can get through in these 10 minutes. But we'll start with the law of attraction. So the basic idea of the law of attraction is like attracts like. If you want to have certain things in your life, you've got to resonate with that. You've got to be in a vibrational harmony with that which you want to attract into your life. Now, all that's fine, but I love the way that Esther and Jerry describe it. So imagine this. Imagine you have a radio and you want to listen to your favorite music, right? And your favorite music is played on a certain station. Let's just say it's 102.7. Now, if you want to listen to that music and you want to experience the joy and the appreciation that you experience listening to that music, then you need to be tuned into that frequency, right? If you're tuned into 98.7 or 95.5 or whatever, and you're trying to listen to 102.7, you're not going to hear it. And if you're in between stations, you might just hear noise and crackling sounds and stuff like that. So the idea is you've got to tune your tuner to receive the right frequency. So you need to be tuned into 102.7 and listen to that great music if that's what you want to listen to. And if you're not tuned into that, you're going to hear noise. You're going to hear things you don't want to hear. So that's the basic idea. We need to tune ourselves to the frequency that we want to experience in our lives. So if we want to experience joy and bliss and appreciation and love and freedom and empowerment and knowing that life is splendid, which are the top emotions that they have in their emotional guidance system and scale, then we need to be that now. That's how we're going to attract that into our life. Now, if we're tuned into anger and frustration and rage and depression and helplessness, guess what? That's what we're going to see in our lives. One of the things I like to talk about that I mentioned in the note is a mundane example. Let's just say I'm calling customer service. Now, there are a couple of different ways I can approach this, right? I can be really upset and really frustrated and angry that I even have an issue, and I call customer service. Now, what do you think's going to happen? Am I going to have a joy-filled conversation with this human being? Probably not. No matter how cool the person might be, by the end of our conversation, if it goes long enough, we're both going to be frustrated, right? Like attracts like. That's what you circulate. Now, on the other hand, I could say, you know what? I live in the 21st century. It's amazing that I even have this product that didn't exist 100, 200 years ago, and I've got a problem with it. Okay, cool, but the product didn't even exist. The problem didn't exist 100 years ago, so I'm going to appreciate that, and I'm going to appreciate the fact that I can pick up a piece of plastic and call someone around the world and instantaneously talk to them. I still can't figure out how that works, and I'm going to celebrate that moment, and I'm going to enter this conversation tuned into a frequency of appreciation, joy, and love. And a game that I like to play, I like to actually start a phone call where I anticipate ending it talking to the customer service rep's manager, telling them how great of a job they did. Literally, that's how I start most of my calls to customer service. Now, how do you think that call ends? It ends with us giving each other virtual high fives, the manager's stoked, the person's so happy, And it's very different than the conversation where I was entitled and angry and bitter and all that stuff. Like attracts like. So the question is, what are you putting out? And are you tuning into the right frequency? Really big idea. I deliberately spent some more time on that. It's one of my favorite concepts. Hope you enjoyed that. So I'm going to jump to emotional fuel gauges. This is another huge idea, and it's just awesome. So quickly, Esther and Jerry Hicks talk about 22 various emotional states, I believe. The number's 22, ranging from the bottom of despair, helplessness, depression, those sorts of things. And then you move up into rage and frustration and pessimism and hopefulness and optimism. And then you get to the top 6 emotional states, which are joy, appreciation, love, empowerment, freedom, and love, of course. These are the 6 top emotional states. So you have a guidance system, right? You're either at the highest or you're at the lowest or you're somewhere in between. What they say is where you are, what emotion you're experiencing, essentially is like a fuel gauge that's telling you and telling us how tuned in we are to source, right? How plugged in we are to that higher power. If we're feeling depressed and anxious and stressed and rageful, we're on empty. We don't have a whole lot of source energy. If we're feeling bliss and joy and love and empowerment, a sense of freedom and a knowing that life is extraordinary, we're plugged into source. We're feeling awesome. We're on full, right? And what they say that's really important is wherever you are, let's say you're on empty. Well, you're on empty. You don't need to get upset about it. It's kind of like driving your car, right? And your gas tank naturally goes sometimes, all the time actually, from full to empty. Now, you don't get upset when your gas tank is on empty. You pull into a gas station and you fill it up. Well, same thing with our emotions. We don't need to get upset about our emotions not being what we want, full. We just drive into the emotional gas station and we fill up. So we fill up by doing things like, for me, what I like to do, I like to top off. I don't like to get anywhere close to half full. I meditate for an hour every morning first thing. And then at night, I meditate for another 15 minutes. It's kind of like driving 50 miles during the day and saying, you know what, I'm going to fill up. And it allows me to stay on full pretty consistently. And when I find myself going down, dipping below half, I don't get to empty anymore. I used to live on a quarter full and empty. Now I find myself playing up here through things that really fill up my emotional fuel tank. So we need to think about what fills our souls up, right? What fills up our emotional fuel tank, and do those things consistently. Hiking, exercising, yoga, meditation, playing with your children, drawing, whatever it is that really inspires you, do those things consistently and play here. And if you find yourself on empty, just pull into the gas station. Don't get upset. Just pull into the gas station and fill up. So those are 2 of my favorite big ideas. I realize I just spent most of the time on those deliberately. Hope you dug it. They talk about the fact that a visionary thrives in all times. It doesn't matter if the economy is bad. The economy is bad, and I'm creating philosopher's notes. I'm independent of that. What difference does it make? In fact, it's actually an extraordinary opportunity for me to serve people who might be in a lot of pain. How can I do that and thrive? Visionaries thrive in all times. Observers are going to go up and down. We want to be able to maintain a consistent link to the divine and just rock it. They also talk about appreciation. Huge. You want to plug into source? Appreciate. I do it every night that I'm online on gratitudelog.com, as I mentioned 100 times. Check me out, gratitudelog.com/Brian Johnson. It's awesome. I've got some other big ideas I'm not going to get to. Segment intending is another favorite one. Check it out in the note. Be conscious of what you want to create moment to moment to moment. Really big idea. So there we go. That's a really quick look at Ask and It Is Given. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, thanks so much for all your energy in this 50-day challenge. You guys are really inspiring me, and I love what I do in large part because I get to hang out with you. So have an awesome day. Look forward to sharing more soon. See you. Brought tears to my eyes. Bye.